Hey, good morning. Welcome back. We're joined today by therapist Alisha Yarberry and Dr. Rofkahr. They're with the Day by Day Healing in Fayetteville. Thank you guys so much for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Good morning. Thanks for being here. We're obviously talking about Mother's Day. We're 4 days away. For a lot of people, Mother's Day, you want to buy gifts, you want to buy flowers for your mom to show her that you love her, show her that you feel appreciated. What would you guys say makes people feel seen and heard on this Mother's Day?
Yeah, I think that when you're talking about making people feel seen and heard, you want to kind of skip the presence of it all and focus on more the presence of what you're, paying attention to with the moms in your life. I think that we all kind of forget about Mother's Day. It can also be really heavy. It could be grief and sadness and also excitement and fun and all of these things. So to truly practice some listening skills with the women in your life and the moms in your life of what they're needing and kind of what they want for Mother's Day. And it could look like presents and gifts for a lot of people, but it could also look like taking over responsibilities and laying in bed all day and all that kind of stuff. It just depends on the women in your life.
Very well said. And you were talking about, listening. What separates hearing someone from actively listening? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think, whenever you're actively listening, it's part of it is about being present with them and not thinking about what am I going to say next. It's about really trying to read between the lines of the words that they're saying and how are they feeling? Like taking from them the experience that they're sharing with you. What are the emotions of the experience? What was their experience like of whatever it is that they're telling you? And then repeating that back to them.
Okay.
Yeah. For someone that's trying to maybe be a better listener,
Right.
kind of what are some tips that you can give us when maybe someone's trying to be a better listener? If you're listening something hard from someone, tell me about that.
So what we're taught in school actually is that idea of active listening, where it's like, okay, we're putting down all distractions, we're really focusing in, we're making eye contact, we are asking clarifying questions of like, oh, what does that mean to you? And we are, really focusing on what they're saying, kind of like Dr. R said, of we're not going to focus on what we're going to say because sometimes it doesn't matter what we're going to say. It's about being present with that person. And the biggest tip that I give clients about active listening is like just taking a pause before you answer whatever they're saying.
So we want to express appreciation sort of that really lands this Mother's Day. Any tips on that?
I think sometimes it's about really paying attention to what it is that they're interested in. And for example, my husband is currently is where we met, in another town where we met, and he sent me a picture of the place that we went to on our first date, right? It's still here, it still exists. And so it's just those little things, those little moments that kind of remind us like, oh, they're actually paying attention to who I am and what I'm interested in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. With loved ones, reassurance is obviously really common. When do you think that you can tell that when does someone you think really need validation?
Always.
Yeah, every day, all day.
Yeah.
Every day, all day. I mean, one of the first things you want to meet people with is validation of what they're saying, and then meeting them with what you're experiencing and what's going on with you too. But validation is the most important thing when you're trying to listen to
I think
people.
if you start with reassurance first, it sometimes can feel like you're brushing them off or dismissing what they're saying. But if you validate what they say, and then but you got this, right? Then they're going to feel more heard, more grounded in what it is that you're saying, and they're going to believe what you're saying a little bit more.
And a lot of times when people talk to us, don't they just want to be heard? They don't necessarily want us to fix their problem. Why do we do that?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, it's about I don't want them to feel bad. I don't want this person that I care about to be sad or angry or upset. I want to make that better because for me it feels yucky that they feel yucky. And so it's more about me than it is about making them feel better.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, guys, thank you so much for coming here, answering our questions. We sure appreciate that. Maybe a few tips we could use this Mother's Day, right?
I think so, definitely. Yeah, I think so.
All right. Let's go ahead and check in with Danny for a look at the weather.